Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. So with the return of Monday Night Football to the airwaves, Vince McMahon decides to throw a Hail Mary pass and book a card for tonight's Monday Night Raw that he's going to call In Your Face. He wants to put Raw in your face, but it definitely is not what I wanted him to do. I don't want Raw in my face. I don't want anything in my face. When something gets in your face, that seems kind of aggressive. It seems kind of mean, and all you want to do is mush it out of me. Get out my face. Get out of my face with this Raw, because it was absolute garbage. It was underwhelming, and they failed at every level. Vince threw this Hail Mary pass, and they went to go catch it in the end zone, but it just kept flying out of the stadium, out of the Thunderdome, because they missed the mark on everything they try to do week after week, and this week was no exception. Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show, only on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
So if you tuned in like me, and you're a dumbass like me, you got rawed in the face tonight. You got Monday Night Raw, you got it thrown right into your face, and you deserve the punishment that you get for sitting through this show. I deserve the misery that they put me through, because I don't learn, just like they don't learn. Why do we watch this? Because we're real fans. And real fans don't turn their back on their favorite things even when they are going through their darkest times. And there has never been a darker time in the WWE, I think, than right now. With the pandemic and everything aside, if you just take the creative aspect of this show and analyze it the way we do, nothing makes sense. Everything is random, everything is thrown together, and if your name is not Dominick, Mysterio, or Roman Reigns, they don't give a shit about you. They really don't. Monday Night Raw, In Your Face Raw, was about as pleasurable as going to the doctor for a proctology exam. Or a prostate exam, rather. Do you ever get a prostate exam? Some of you younger guys might not know what that is. Some of you females might not know what that is. That's when you go to the doctor and he takes his little finger digit here and he shoves it in your ass. And then he's doing all this and he's checking for problems. And that's far more enjoyable, I think, than sitting through an episode of Monday Night Raw. They should have called it Raw in Your Ass, because that's what it felt like. And let's talk about some of the reasons why this felt like a finger in the ass episode of Monday Night Raw. First of all, you got Dolph Ziggler on commentary. What? First of all, his voice alone is very grating. He doesn't have a commentator's voice. Now, you know what I mean when I say that. Not everybody is fit to be on the microphone. And him standing there screaming about Mickie James, calling her James. He called Mickie James James throughout the whole match, which was kind of annoying and kind of off-putting, but his screaming and his wailing and his hollering reminded me of when we were little kids and we were playing with our wrestling figures, you know, when we were doing our own thing and we were all trying to emulate Vince McMahon. Oh, an upper virgin, look at the top of the rope and this and that. He sounded so forced and all of his energy was so weird and just misplaced, and I didn't need Dolph Ziggler on commentary. It was terrible. It was terrible. So was the cavalcade of clowns that continued to come out on commentary all night long. We had MVP show up in the third hour because Dolph Ziggler wanted to go play in the underground, which we'll get to in a second. And then we had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler and this person and that person. Who cares? Who cares about people sitting on commentary? It doesn't do anything but take away and distracts from the match. We've seen Angel Garza and Andrade and Zelina finally implode, which has been months and months and months in the making, and it couldn't have fell apart in a more underwhelming fashion. Yet Andrade and Zelina had needed nothing to do with this guy this whole entire time, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Angel Garza has brought nothing to the picture. They did not do anything good with this team. There has been nothing but tension with them from the beginning. And then you got Angel Garza talking to Lana in the back, and Celina Vega's mad that he's flirting with Lana. Who's writing this garbage? Who's writing this garbage? The same person that is petty enough to write a segment to put Lana through a table tonight. We saw a really ridiculous tag team match take place that didn't need to happen, and I am completely and totally convinced that they only booked the Riot Squad versus Natty and Lana to put Lana through a table as revenge. As revenge, because Big Rusev, her husband, showed up on AEW Dynamite, so let's put Lana through a table this week. That's not a coincidence. It's also not a coincidence that they've taken 6-time world champion Mickie James and treated her like garbage in this most likely final run that she's having with the company, because Nick Aldis is the NWA world champion. So you're being petty and you're putting it out there on screen, and it's right there for everybody to see. You can't tell me I'm wrong with that. There was no reason for any of those things to happen. Look at the way that the women's championship match finished tonight. Mickie James didn't even know that the finish happened. She was as shocked as the rest of us. She was rolling out of an Asuka lock. She had Asuka's shoulders pinned to the mat, and the referee calls for the decision and says that Mickie James can no longer continue, and she's laying there like, what? Talk about shit falling apart. The ship is coming apart at the seams, and this show is sinking faster and faster week by week. First of all, they wanted to book Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. Now, I knew that this match wasn't going to have a finish. You know that they were going to do some kind of a schmaz finish here, but booking this matchup so early is just kind of desperate. Randy Orton's out because Randy Orton's been injured by Drew McIntyre last week with all the Claymore kicks. Drew McIntyre's got apparently a broken jaw, but they're still allowing him to wrestle, and if he takes one more shot to this broken jaw, it could be life-threatening. And then you got Adam Pearce, the bald wonder, who's suddenly become the GM of everything. There was no ceremony. There was no appointing. I'm Pierce, whatever the fuck your name is. You can be the new WWE official. Who is he to be making decisions? Where is he getting his orders from? This show is lacking an authority figure of some sort, but Adam Pearce is not it. This guy was more pissed off about Retribution doing a commentary skit on screen, doing a vignette, than he's been about them destroying the place for the last 2 months. And Retribution, as well as the Raw Underground, continues to be the two absolute worst things on Monday Night Raw, and it is bringing it down more and more every week. Oh, but they did Yabba Dabba versus Braun Strowman. Who cares? Why should we care? They should change the name of Raw Underground to the Raw Garbage Dump or the Raw Trash Factory. Because it seems kind of fitting that the Braun Strowman character, the biggest pile of garbage, the most worthless character on the show right now, they threw him in the flaming dumpster fire that is the Raw Underground. And they think that by putting him face to face with Yabba Dabba Dabba Kato, whatever the hell his name is, it's going to generate interest, it's going to generate a buzz. Who the hell is Dabba Kato? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Outside of the Underground, what do you know about the guy? What does the average wrestling fan, the average person viewing Raw know about this guy? He likes to be in Shane McMahon's little sweatbox and beat up guys half his size. What do we know about Braun Strowman? He's a loser. He's the Big Show 2.0. Big Showman, as we like to call him, because it's the same thing. They took the Big Show, one of the most money attractions in all of pro wrestling, and turned him into the New Year's baby. They turned him into a joke. And they did the same thing to Braun Strowman. They used Braun Strowman because Roman had to take a vacation to keep his family safe, which is respectable, but they used this guy, put him in the top spot, made him the Universal Champion. He loses the Universal Championship, and now he's in Shane McMahon's sweatbox wrestling Yabba Dabba. Or is going to wrestle Yabba Dabba. We got to see Braun Strowman in the Raw shit ground, the Underground, the garbage dump, wrestle Dolph Ziggler and a bunch of other guys. Riddick Moss, Titus O'Neil, who actually took Braun Strowman down with the greatest of ease. It made him look stupid in that moment. Sure, he got his revenge at the end. But how the hell is Titus O'Neil taking down Braun Strowman so easily, but he can't fucking win a match in the ring against some of the worst mid-carders I've ever seen? It's just ridiculousness after ridiculousness. There was nothing cohesive about this show. The Seth Rollins, Dominick, Mysterio thing, I hope that's come to an end. I really do. At some point, they got to give Rey Mysterio his eye back and put him in the ring and end this thing. Because it's already gone on too long. I felt like the Mysterios got their revenge on Seth Rollins already. All of this extra doesn't need to be happening. It really doesn't. This steel cage match was only booked to try to generate viewers, to try to bring in an audience, to try to compete with Monday Night Football. But how is this kid at 23 years old having like his fifth match? His fifth match in the company is a steel cage match. That does not compute, just like the rest of this show. The kid knows about a dozen moves. Half of those moves cannot be pulled off inside of a steel cage. And then you have the whole Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy drama. They're breaking up guys left and right. Now Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins are apparently splitting up. Seth Rollins demolishing Buddy Murphy after this matchup because Buddy came out to help him, even though Seth Rollins told him not to. Sure, Buddy Murphy accidentally hit Seth Rollins with the chair, but he was also there to try to help the guy win. He tried to stop Dominick Mysterio from leaving the cage. He tried to help Seth Rollins win by giving him a kendo stick. He didn't care at those moments that this guy was out there. I don't know, it just really felt forced. Everything about this show felt forced and just not genuine at all. I had no interest in any of the things that were going down. Mysterio and Rollins reminded me of playing a cage match in 2K19 or 18 or whatever the last WWE 2K game you played. If you do a steel cage match, what does the AI do? You could literally start that matchup, and in 3 seconds, if the computer gets you down, he goes to climb the cage. Every time he gets you down, he goes to climb the cage. He did no significant damage to you. He kicked you, and you fell, and he's going to climb the cage. Every single move was hit, and then somebody went to go climb the cage. It was kind of counterintuitive. It took away from the excitement. I don't understand why they need to climb the cage. There's no need to climb the cage. There's a fucking door there. You know, you can go for the door. It's a cool way to bring drama into the match, and they tried to do that. You had Rey Mysterio trying to pull Dominic out. And now let's take a look at that image for just 1 second. Rey Mysterio, a powerful pro wrestler. I don't give a shit that he's only 5 foot whatever. He's a strong man. You see the size of the guy's back. He's got muscles bigger than me, so he could probably kick my ass. I'm sure he definitely could kick my ass. But here he is, holding on to his 23-year-old son who looks like he's 17 years old and weighs about 100 pounds, and he couldn't pull him out of the ring. It's those stupid bookings and those stupid decisions when they're trying to tell the stories of the matches that take you out of it. Seth Rollins was down in the corner. Dominick Mysterio at the open door, holding hands with his dad, and Tiny Dad couldn't pull his giant baby son out of the ring. Why? That's not how you build drama. And while we're talking about the Mysterios still, having Dominick Mysterio, every time he does a promo, be surrounded by his mommy and his sister and his little dad, Tiny Dad, makes him look even younger than he is. He's 23 years old. The guy ends up looking like he's 15, standing there with his mom. He's doing his promos with his head down. He's got like no confidence. He sounds like a child with his voice not being really that deep. And it just isn't making him all that appealing. What he's doing in the ring is good. I mean, naturally, he's going to be good. His genetics dictate that he should be good. But the story behind him right now is just so boring. So boring. Why do we have to keep seeing his mom? What is she doing out there during a steel cage match? Do they not realize that they would be more of a distraction than anything? It's just so brutal. So brutal. This whole show was ridiculous. Just like the champion versus champion tag team matchup that had no implications whatsoever. This was just champion versus champion for the sake of it. For the hell of it. It was useless. And they didn't even do what I expected they would do. What most of us think, or thought if we had a brain, or at the very least we hoped, that there is some sort of a plan in play to merge the tag divisions. They don't give a shit about the brand split anymore. You got Mandy Rose coming to Raw. You got Braun Strowman coming to show up in the underground. Who cares about the brand split anymore? Right? It doesn't matter. So merge the tag team divisions. That's where I was hopeful that this was going to go. And it seems around Survivor Series time when we do the champion versus champion thing, we always hope for that. And it never comes. And I don't think it's coming again. Because what happened tonight here is we had the Street Profits, the Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Sushi Bar, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. And this match came about because Shinsuke and Cesaro brought their Sushi Bar to Monday Night Raw to challenge the Raw Tag Team Champions. For what reason? Because there's no tag teams to fight. That's why. But in reality, there is no real good reason. It just seems like it's something they just decided to do. So they came out, they called out the Raw Tag Team Champions, and then a little over a week later, they show up on Monday Night Raw, and they lose clean to the Street Profits. For what? For what? Logic tells you what all of us expected to happen here was some sort of a controversial finish. Something should have went down where the referee was knocked out or something. They could have done a million different finishes here in order to make this match not have a clear-cut winner, cause controversy. You follow it up with a rematch on SmackDown. Since you did one on Raw, you could do one on SmackDown where the match again ends in controversy without a real overall winner, in which case the teams raise the stakes, do title for title at the Clash of the Champions. But that's not what we got. Even if that's in the plan, we just seen the SmackDown champions beat by the Street Profits. So what's the point in going forward? Just like I don't understand what the point was going forward with Kevin Owens versus Alistair Black tonight. Captain Black showed up with his little side swoosh scarf covering his eye, which we all know is okay. He revealed that last week. What are you wearing it for? Style? To give yourself a disadvantage and keep yourself half blind? Maybe he liked being one-eyed. I don't know. Maybe he wants to be a 7-foot tattooed Popeye. What do I know? Aleister Black versus Kevin Owens had a rematch tonight. They fought last week in the Raw Underground, which doesn't count. But now they're fighting again tonight. And with the pay-per-view on the horizon, I don't understand the logic of having the match now. And then you have Kevin Owens beat Aleister Black due to flickering lights in the arena. Because Retribution was around tonight. So now the good guy has already prevailed. Kevin Owens is the babyface in this scenario. He's already defeated Aleister Black. Sure, the lights went out and it was a distraction. How could it be a distraction? The guy's already wrestling with one eye. He should be used to having some darkness in his life. My God. Just a really ridiculous and useless show. Nothing of interest happened tonight. Let's go up and down the official card and get this shit over with. Because I would much rather be playing Tony Hawk or Ghost of Tsushima or any of the other million things I could possibly be doing. I could watch Stranger Things for the 5th time from episode 1 all the way through to the final episode because season 4 is coming out and I want to be ready. I could watch The Umbrella Academy. That's more worth my time. And no, this is not a Netflix commercial. I wish Netflix would sponsor me, but I'm just telling you guys, these things are more worth your time than Monday Night Raw. Watching your toenails grow is more worth your time than Monday Night Raw. And certainly watching the Sledgehammer TV station on YouTube is more worth your time than Monday Night Raw. And if you're having a good time, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. And if you're enjoying yourself here today, make sure you don't miss out on future videos by hitting that subscribe button and becoming a Sledgehead right now. And then you can share this video with anybody that you think would find value and find amusement in what we do here. Because I know WWE doesn't entertain you. So I will take that ball, I'll take the brass ring, and run with it. Officially, this show started off. Drew McIntyre came out and spoke, said some shit. Keith Lee and him were fighting all night long, which was kind of ridiculous as well. Drew McIntyre's trying to raise the stakes with Randy Orton. He wants to have an ambulance match. Boring. Talk about boring. This is one of my least favorite match types in all of professional wrestling. The ambulance match is bullshit. But anyway, they were trying to go this direction. In which case, Adam Pearce comes out. Adam Pearce, the bald wonder, who's suddenly making decisions and calling the shots around here, said that Randy Orton's not here tonight, and if he can't make it to the Clash of Champions, Keith Lee will get the shot instead if Keith Lee defeats Drew McIntyre later on tonight on In Your Face, In Your Ass, Monday Night Raw. The first match of the evening, Raw Tag Team Champions Street Profits defeat the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Non-title match, didn't mean anything, absolutely useless, about 10 minutes of wrestling. There you go. The Hurt Business. The Hurt Business said business is booming. The only thing booming about the Hurt Business is how much this shit stinks. It stinks. You might as well call them the Fart Business. That's how much it stinks. It's just gone on for way too long. It's progressed a little bit with the addition of Cedric Alexander. But I don't care. I don't care. You know why? Because they're still wrestling Apollo Crews and Ricochet. 6 months of this shit. Maybe more. Ridiculous. The Hurt Business came out. They cut a promo, which led into Cedric Alexander going one-on-one with Ricochet. They said this match came about because of the non-finish last week in the tag team match. No, it's not. This match came about because they have no fucking idea what else to do with Cedric or Ricochet. So let's just keep them together. They're not a team anymore, but we'll get them to wrestle. Almost a 10-minute match here. The action in here was decent at times, but it really didn't matter. Ricochet suffers a loss. Cedric and the Hurt Business get a win. I really didn't care. Sarah Schreiber interviewed Mickie James, where Mickie James made it known that this might be the last time ever that she will get a chance to win the Women's Championship. It was a good promo. Mickie James is great. I think she's wonderful. I also think she's just a little bit past her prime after you watch that match tonight. Some of it probably wasn't her fault, but Asuka defeats Mickie James and retains the Raw Women's Championship in a very, very strange match. The timing in this match was off. Mickie James went for the Mick kick about 3 times and missed it every time. She didn't really deliver it well. And I'm not trying to criticize Mickie James. You guys who watch me on a weekly basis know that I think Mickie James is great. She's one of the most beautiful women on the roster still at 41 years old. She's better looking than half of the chicks half her age, and she's better in the ring too. It just seems for some reason that tonight she was a bit off. She was a half step off. Her timing was just not there. Maybe her chemistry with Asuka's not there. Maybe she knows that she's being screwed by the WWE in some way. I don't know. But this match turned into a disaster. And the finish of the match, as we talked about briefly before, was very, very strange. It was crazy. The referee said that Mickie James could not continue. We have no idea why. She didn't seem hurt. She didn't tap out. She didn't do anything to make you seem like she was injured. Nothing happened there. Nothing happened. And when the referee called for the bell, Mickie James's eyes were about as wide as mine because she was just as confused as the rest of us. And it didn't make any sense. So they threw this match out after almost 12 minutes of action so that Celina Vega can come out. Now, Celina Vega is another performer in the women's division that I've always been very high on. I've watched her back when she was in TNA. And I've seen her all the way through up until now, everywhere she's been. She's a Queens, New York girl, which is where I'm from. She's a hometown girl, and I love her to death. I think she's great. But putting her here makes no sense. Makes no sense. You got Bianca Belair in the back doing nothing at all. And you think Zelina Vega is ready to be the challenger for Asuka? What has she done to prove that she deserves a world championship match? Manage Andrade as a champion? Manage Angel Garza? Watch that implode? What has she done? What has she done? She's mad that she lost her tag team, so now she's just going to be on her own? Is she going to leave Andrade? Is Andrade becoming the manager? Is Zelina Vega going to beat Asuka? Probably not. I would be shocked if they did that. But the way the confrontation went down, it just, again, seemed very forced. And kind of like, well, we have nothing else to do, right? But they do have other choices. You got Mandy Rose coming to Monday Night Raw for some unknown reason. I would have been more accepting of her showing up and stepping into the title picture. She at least got a win at SummerSlam over Sonya Deville. So, where is Zelina Vega deserving? Where has she proven or earned this championship opportunity? So, you can go out and poison people and then get rewarded with championship opportunities? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. The promo she did was great, but that's what she does. She's good at promo work. So that's not surprising. But what is surprising is that they finally decide to put Zelina Vega in the women's division, and naturally, we'll just automatically give her a title shot. This company is ridiculous. Bobby Lashley defeated Eric, the lone Viking Raider Warrior Raider, in 2 minutes. This whole segment only existed so that they had a reason to talk about Ivar's injury. They talked about how he was injured last week. They talked about MVP was taking credit for it, even though he had absolutely nothing to do with it. He was just one of the 3 other people that Ivar collided with. And then Eric got buried by Bobby Lashley, tapping out to the Master Lock, which they're now calling the Hurt Lock, which we will call the Fart Lock, because the fart business is booming. And they are stinking up this show all over the place. They also offered up their services to the new GM, Adam Pearce, since they don't take too kindly to all of the shenanigans of RETRIBUTION. And they are going to stand up for Monday Night Raw, but it's going to cost them. And they're going to send Adam Pearce a bill. And when you have the heel faction on the show, the only line of defense and the last line of defense against another heel faction, what are you doing? It doesn't make sense at all. Braun Strowman approached Shane McMahon outside the Raw Underground locker room, the Raw dumpster fire, the Raw garbage bin. The only thing impressive about this was just how big that other guy was. That security guy, I forgot his name. It's not a very usual name. It's quite unique, and I don't remember it. But this dude towered over Braun Strowman. Why they are wasting him as Shane McMahon's personal security to his sweatbox, I won't understand. I will never understand. Anyway, Braun shows up, right? Braun threatens the big dude. Braun threatens Shane McMahon. He's like, I want in there because I'm in a bad mood, man. And then they go to commercial. And then we come back. And when we do get back to the Raw Underground, we're seeing Dolph Ziggler fight some schmuck that nobody knows. And what happened to Strowman? He was already raring to go. What, did he go sit in there and then go to take a dump? What, did he go shower up in the back? Get it clean with some Irish Spring or something? Like, what was he doing? He should have walked it. The way they should have filmed this was they have that spot, right, where he talks to Shane, he says, let me in there, and whatever. Then you let him go in there, and you let him tear the place to the ground. You don't just have him missing so that Dolph Ziggler can get his weekly workout in, or whatever the hell you want to call this shit. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't say that enough. Ridiculous is probably not even the right word for it. Dolph Ziggler gets removed from commentary because he's got to go play in the shitbox with everybody else, and MVP was his replacement. They would have done better to have absolutely nobody. Why we couldn't have just had Cole and Saxton, I don't know. The third man was unnecessary. And then the steel cage match, Seth Rollins defeats Dominick Mysterio. We had a little drama after the match where Rey Mysterio went into the ring to help his son after he was curb stomped twice by Seth Rollins after a pretty decent match. The kid did a good job. I just don't understand why they're pushing him so fucking hard, and we can't get a solid push for a guy like Kevin Owens or a Samoa Joe or even anybody that's come up from NXT. But their guns are blazing for Dominick Mysterio. At the end of the match, Rollins attacked Buddy Murphy for his interference, not up. That's interference and appearance together, in case you were wondering what an interference is. So they did that, and they broke them up, and then Rollins left. He approached the mom and said, "Oh, I hope you did a better job raising this one." Why the family's there, again, it just takes away from everything. Then Angie and Aaliyah Mysterio went to the ring. The one thing of note was Aaliyah kind of was checking on Murphy as he was laid out on the outside, like she felt bad for him or something. I don't want this to turn into some sort of a storyline. The last thing we need is another Mysterio child involved. Let's do storylines with wrestlers, please. Is that too much to ask on a wrestling show? Raw Underground was a waste. Kevin Owens defeated Alistair Black. We talked about that. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan defeated Natty and Lana in 1 minute and 15 seconds. But the story here was not even that. Ruby and Liv get a much-needed win to show that they actually are capable as a tag team again. But the story here is Nia Jax giving Lana a Samoa drop through the table, through the announce table, after the match. Once again, why would this heel team of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler attack the heel team of Natty and Lana? It doesn't make sense. They did it just because they can. And they did it because WWE wanted to find a way to get back at Miro Rusev for doing what he did. So we took your wife and we put her through a table. How about them apples? Talk about petty. Back in the Raw Underground, Strowman took out some schmuck, and then Ziggler jumped in to beat up on Braun Strowman with Riddick Moss. He beat them both up very easily. And then Yabba Dabba Doo came into the ring, confronted Strowman, but Shane McMahon did not let it go down. He said they are going to fight next week. I don't understand this Raw Underground. It really is ridiculous. It's like Bloodsport without any blood, I guess, but there's no judges, and the winner is only crowned when Shane McMahon decides that the match is over. Or somebody gets thrown out of the ring sumo style. Like, what are the rules? They don't even know the rules to regular wrestling. I shouldn't expect them to know the rules to this raw shit dumping ground. Oh my God. And then the night finishes off with Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee, which ended with RETRIBUTION showing up, causing chaos. And then here is the biggest problem with this matchup. Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre were wrestling just fine, okay? They were having a good match. You knew that something was going to happen. I assumed it was going to be Randy Orton coming out and getting involved. Instead, we got RETRIBUTION. And then the weirdest thing happened. The fart business came out and decided to bring their stink, because it didn't stink enough with RETRIBUTION out there. Or fartribution. We could just call everything fart since everything smells like ass on Monday Night Raw. So now they come out And they're trying to stop Retribution. Retribution's got like 100 members now. And then Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre simultaneously do a suicide dive over the top rope, leaping on top of the entire group of people. And now on the floor is all of Retribution and all of the fart business. And neither Keith Lee nor Drew McIntyre nor anybody else took anybody's fucking mask off. You have the entire squad down and out. What would it have... How hard could it have been to write this? Take one member into the middle of the ring, Drew and Keith together, and whip the mask off of one of these dudes. And then the rest of them could go scurrying away like the cockroaches that they are. But now at least we know one guy. Make it Dominick Dijakovic. Make it one of the females. Make it interesting. But no, instead, Raw ends in chaos. And it accomplishes nothing. Are you guys excited to see next week? No. It's going to be the same shit that we seen this week, which is the same that we seen last week, and nothing takes anything more than a baby step forward. But for every baby step forward, there's always 3 giant human-sized steps back. And that is the synopsis of Monday Night Raw. 1 baby step forward, 3 big Strowman-sized footsteps backwards, no matter what they do. This show is draining my soul. I don't even want to review Monday Night Raw. I don't want to review WWE anymore because I feel like I'm in a black hole. A black hole, like almost like I'm in the Raw Underground and I cannot escape, and I'm covered with smoke and mirrors and Shane's sweat and yabba dabba doo, and now Braun Strowman. I can't take it. I can't take it. But thank you guys so much as always for tuning up, for showing up, tuning in, and turning out, because it was Raw in your ass night. Did you like how it felt in your ass? Let me know if you liked it in that comment section below. I know most of you guys didn't, because you're always on track and on par with what I'm thinking. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a sledgehead. And once again, if you're not a sledgehead, to become one, it's absolutely free. All you gotta do, hit that subscribe button right now. Get us to 3,000 and beyond as quickly as possible before I really can't take any more. It's such a tough job. It's a tough job. And then I gotta find a way to make it funny for you. But I think I do a better job than WWE. How about you? Let me know down in the comments. Who am I? Who's this weirdo? I'm Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blither Snowball. Most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. If you guys have missed anything on the channel that we put up, whether it was the latest pay-per-view reviews, the review of SummerSlam, our review of SmackDown, or anything else that you may have missed, it'll be linked in the annotations right up there. And I hope that you guys take advantage of that and go and watch everything. And when you do, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to do your part as a good sledgehead and help us to grow, every little bit helps. So like, share, and subscribe, most importantly. Thank you guys so much for being here. That is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.